We've sent 80,000 emails, 152 leads generated. What's your experience been like working with me, Covenant, the rest of the team?
All you're really looking for with like a good agency partner, in my opinion, is just like transparency and responsiveness. And it feels like you have a team literally working 24/7.
What's the time commitment look like on your end each week?
I do little to nothing. That's when the light bulb switched that, oh, this is very similar to any other paid marketing channel. Yeah. And when you shift it into a marketing mindset versus every email should drive a sale, it sort of stacks quite well into your lead mosaic of different places.
If someone's on the fence about working with me with auto, what would you tell them?
Trust the pros. It's been working for me on 2 different businesses. We have 6 happy franchise owners using it as well. So
we've got JD, CEO of Break Coffee. JD and I have worked together for about 3 months now, doing cold email for Break Coffee and one of his other businesses as well, just as a result of the success we had seen through Break. But John, quickly describe Break Coffee and what you guys do.
Yeah, so Break is a B2B coffee franchise. So we have 10 franchise owners largely across the East Coast, and they provide a premium coffee experience to commercial customers. So think law firms, financial services, technology companies. And the whole name of the game is place more machines. And the hardest part sometimes can actually be getting your offer in front of people. So just trying to figure out new ways to spread the word about what Break is doing for our local franchise owners and then scaling that across the country.
Makes perfect sense. Okay. B2B coffee subscription style offering. Just to set the context on our engagement, since we've worked together, it's been about 3 months now. We've sent 80,000 emails, 6.8% reply rate, 152 leads generated. And so what that comes out to is about a 9% positive reply rate, which as we've talked about, that's really that metric that we want to optimize for. And then we send the leads actually to your guys' sales team. So rather than taking it to the meeting booked, we send that directly to your guys' sales team. You mentioned the biggest thing is like getting your offer in front of those people you want to talk to. What was your guys's, did you guys have a process or channels in place to be able to do that prior? What did those look like and kind of how was that working?
Our franchise owners were pretty reliant on a handful of different lead channels. So one would just be our natural landing pages. We try and do a good job of optimizing those to drive traffic of potential high intent folks, office managers, facility services, presidents to some extent. Subscribe to a handful of like lead gen platforms. Again, generally these are folks searching for office coffee. So higher intent, but you know, it can be a pretty real investment, particularly if you have a month of slower conversion there. We've done some other types of marketing. A lot of our franchise owners, I mean, it's local on the ground marketing. They'll go to the BNI chapter or Chamber of Commerce, direct mail, like a lot of old school stuff. And then, of course, just building out their network. But folks really had a hard time building out like any sort of real scale, which is when auto sort of slipped in and helped us out.
Yeah, 100%. Had you guys tried cold email I'm sure the franchisees at some level were sending out cold emails, but had you guys tried anything along the lines of what we were doing?
Yeah, so I came in July, and just, I guess, a little bit more context. I am historically was a big believer in cold email for the sales process. And that's a little bit more sniper versus what we're working with you guys on. And yes, our franchise owners have tried it. They had tried cold LinkedIn as well because you can just really see who exactly it is on the other side. But the tough part for our franchise owners was really pulling it all together. So maybe we'd find some decent list that we could work through, but then they're manually sending the emails, or they're running them through a HubSpot sequencer and sending, 50 emails a day. So long-winded way of saying we had sent emails before, but we had never really had a true outbound campaign.
Yeah, that makes sense. And we run a pretty unique strategy with Break, I would say, in that there's multiple franchisees. So we kind of had to get everybody rowing the same boat. And so I know there was some work to do on your end, as well as like I came to you and I'm like, hey, this is the offer that I think we should run. For context, that is essentially a free sample or a free trial of coffee. And we're kind of broad with the messaging so that the sales reps can kind of take that how they want. But how was that initially? Like, I know that was kind of a new sales process for the team, right? Like they're getting this lead in their inbox and, they're like, yeah, sure, I would love a free sample or a free trial. How is kind of that education around like, and I came to you like, hey, I think we need to do this to be successful. How has it been making that work and turning that into more of like a real offer for the business?
Yeah. So historically, Break's initial offer we would lead with is a 2-week free trial of our machines. Generally, that's actually a bit of friction to get a high-end espresso machine installed.
Right.
So when we started working with you, you sort of flipped it on its head. Like, hey, what's an easier, lower friction way for somebody simply to engage? And to your point earlier, your team is not booking the calls, but that works really well for us because each of the individual franchise owners operates their business a little bit differently. They have a really intimate understanding of the types of customers that they're working with. So just once the lead is surfaced into their inbox, generally we are leading with a free sample. Kind of interesting. It's not like everybody says, hey, mail me the sample right away. A lot of people will just say, hey, what's this all about? Can you send me some more information? Mm-hmm. It's something about that free coffee and give some playful copy that's actually resonated really well with people. It just triggers a response, which is really all we're looking to do is have more conversations. And it's certainly increased activity amongst the owners, and it's been good.
Yeah, absolutely. There was something you said in there about, just kind of the ease of the offer is super important, where if there's an install process, it's like you can still go through that install process, right? And have that conversation, but we need to start the conversation before you can say, hey, it's going to be a 2-week installation. You got to have an upfront deposit. Like these are sales conversations, right? And so then really how we take it is, and this is kind of what I wanted to get in with you, is you had told me there's this unlock of like, it's not a sales channel, it's a marketing channel, right? Like good copy is important. Having a strong offer, even a lead magnet is important. How has that kind of shifted your mindset just as an entrepreneur and as a CEO, as far as kind of like building an offer, putting it in front of people? Has that kind of changed your mindset and how you approach business in general?
Yeah. So first on the offer side, it was just good to breathe like a new growth strategy into a 20-plus-year-old business. So we talked about the samples, sending samples. Another low friction offer that you frankly came up with was just like a tasting experience. So it took quite a bit easier for our franchise owners to just go in 2 or 3 hours, provide a nice employee perk, while at the same time obviously educating the decision maker on actually our products and services. But that has been something else that's been exciting that I wouldn't have expected our cold email partner to introduce a whole new business motion for us, but that's been nice on the offer front. In terms of sales versus marketing, I think I really had the aha moment looking at the Airtable. So I can see all the emails that you're sending. I can see just frankly, the folks that respond not interested. Mm-hmm. It's those leads that get surfaced to our franchise owners, the sales team, if you will. That's when the light bulb switched that, this is very similar to any other paid marketing channel. There's going to be folks that go past your offer and simply aren't interested, but all you're looking for is that, 5 to 10% that do reply somewhat positively to start a conversation. And that's what I'm really trying to instill in our franchise owners. And we obviously think about each new account on a cost to acquire that account basis. Yeah. And when you shift it into a marketing mindset versus every email should drive a sale, it just sort of stacks quite well into your lead mosaic of different places where we're just looking for top of funnel. And our small business owners, these are small business owners, they understood it quite quickly, which was great. Everybody's just looking for top of funnel, and this was a nice one to layer in. And it can be managed in the home office too, which they all appreciate. They don't need to go out, actually negotiate or find anything, write copy. I can sort of manage it here with you and then roll it out across the system.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. The centralization of it is probably nice. And I work with companies who aren't franchise companies, but they will have 5, 6, 7 sales reps that are all running their own process, right? They're sending emails out of their Gmail app or out of HubSpot. I ask them, how many emails are your sales reps sending? How many meetings are they booking from email? And like, what are they saying? Like, are you guys controlling the narrative there? And there's not a lot of that being done. And so it is nice to kind of centralize it. I think the same way companies will hire a performance marketer to go and run paid ads, companies should be hiring someone who kind of sits within that sales team, but has the marketing focus of let's unify this cold email channel so that it's trackable. We control the message, and the sales team can, and like, let's cover your market so that your sales team can go focus on, here's the 100, like, here's my dream 100. Let me go spend all my time here. And I know Andrew and his team or whoever's running that can kind of go and cover that market, and we'll take what comes in from there. So that
our franchise owners truly do exactly that. They'll map out their list of 50, like top 50 accounts that they want in their market. And those they need to go and build relationships and network and figure out how you can get in. This is just like, we call it air coverage. We're providing you air coverage so that you can amplify your voice and tell your message to more people while you do work those strategic accounts that need like a little bit more hand-to-hand combat, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah. And then to your point about kind of like like for you guys, I was just doing the numbers. We generate a meeting or a lead every about 500 emails right now. And so when you look at this system, if you're in a large market, that's incredibly powerful. Because what do you do then if you send 50,000 emails? But I think a lot of people get hung up on if I send out 100 emails, I'm going to book 2 meetings. And it's like, okay, well, let's learn from what you're doing on that manual basis and then see if we can apply that. But at the same time, how much are you paying your sales reps to go out and do those 100 touch points, right? And are they seeing you from other areas? So there's a lot that goes into that where people get hung up on, and we care about these numbers because they guide to the ultimate number, which is your customer acquisition cost. But well, why is the reply rate lower? Why does it take X amount of emails to book a meeting? And I really try to think of it more as a system. You know, I run paid ads. I don't know how many impressions I have. I don't know what my CPM is, to be frankly. But I know how many meetings I'm booking, and I know what my customer acquisition cost is. And so when you take that same scale approach to cold email, you'll find, and you'll math it out, like the numbers are very similar from top to bottom in terms of like, how many people am I getting in front of and what is my customer acquisition cost? Now, it's not for everybody because you want to be in a market that can support that. If you only had one franchise owner, we could run it for them, but it would make more sense for you guys to just do it yourself, right? Like set this system up just and run it. But you do get that same scale. And I think of it more as a system, more of like, you know, a high volume, high powered system rather than we're trying to optimize for the highest reply rate possible, right? And so that's some of the learning that kind of I had. A lot of it working with you and just talking back and forth on a lot of this stuff and running these campaigns.
I mean, it was nice. I sort of just told you, hey, this is what we're doing today. This is what I think we should be doing. And then you sort of steered me in the right direction to, frankly, just make the offer a bit better. Like originally, I wanted to send an email, hey, we're Break Coffee. This is what we did. This is the value we add.
Yeah.
And response to emails like that. So,
yeah.
No, I'm excited. I mentioned 10 franchise owners today. Like, we're not sending any emails in Dallas. We're not sending any emails in Atlanta today. So as we add more markets, then we'll obviously broaden geographically, but it's nice. We'll just keep working our existing geos too. Even if somebody doesn't respond today, they'll likely respond over the next 5 years. So,
yep. Then that was another thinking that we had was like, I wish this was like more scalable as a business model, because think about if we could email every office manager, facility manager, operations head, executive assistant in the US, and like it's an easy to fulfill model. So businesses that do have that, whenever I talk to them, I'm like, I don't care if it's with me, but you need to do this. Like you need to run this strategy. So,
no. I mean, you mentioned the other business that we work with you on. It's a local water and ice business. So we're targeting. It's largely like 2 big counties in New York and Connecticut, call it about 3 million or so population. But I would kill for us to have a national offer that we could fulfill so that we could be emailing facilities directors at country clubs in Arizona as well.
Right.
We're working on some stuff there. So hopefully we can broaden scope over time.
Yep, 100%. Let me get a couple more questions, then we can wrap this up. Last one on kind of the lead gen side. How has the quality of meetings or quality of leads been? I know we run a different approach for you where we're mostly just qualifying on title and if they have an office. And so we're running a pretty like, let's hit everybody that we can kind of strategy. But I've seen some like pretty cool names come through on the Slack channel. Like I'm always tracking the leads that come in. And I've seen some cool names, but how, from the feedback that you get from the team, how do you feel like the lead quality's been compared to the other channels that you guys run?
We are a unique, part of the coffee ecosystem in that generally customers are spending $500 plus a month. So not every business can allocate $500 to their monthly coffee subscription. So to your point, we will come across smaller businesses that only have 10 employees in the office, or, frankly, the average salary is sub six figures. Like, probably not our right customer. What's been interesting, though, is even in some of those instances, they'll say, hey, you should reach out to this person. So it's like, again, part of the marketing. It's almost like, hey, referring a Facebook post. Quality's been great. The volume is much higher than the paid lead, like those lead magnets that I was talking about, where the very high intent. And the quality is worse because we're not filtering it quite as much as these paid magnets are. What's great, though, is, again, you mentioned on the sort of scraping or sourcing context based off titles, you don't necessarily always know who's going to be buying coffee at an office. I see it all the time, us actually getting referred to the right person within an organization.
Right.
So it almost helps. It reduces that level of, hey, this is the right person I should be talking to, because you're doing it at so much scale, it just almost happens naturally. But yeah, no, you're hitting our core customer base. It was nice when I sent you a couple of lists too that one of our Chicago owners wanted to get out, got those out to folks as well. But yeah, volume up, quality technically lower than the extremely high intent paid sites, but we'll take this blend any day.
Yeah. And one thing we talked about doing to account for that lead quality stuff was like, hey, our team will respond as soon as they come in, and let's just shoot them straight to a form and let's qualify them there. So your lead count will be lower, but they will be, you'll still see them all come through, but you'll only portion off, you'll hit 75% of them, right? But I think our strategy was more like, we want to see everything that comes in. We want the franchise owners to be able to make that call and like handle that lead right as it comes in. And so we do put boundaries in place like that when we think the filtering is going to be a little bit more difficult. And to your point, the copy is super important as far as we're delivering a really thoughtful message that's personalized to them. And so we will ask like, hey, are you the right person to speak to about this? Or should we speak to someone else? And that helps a lot to then kind of carry on that process, even if we're not hitting that exact right person within the company.
Our franchise owners, they have the bandwidth to have more conversations. So to your point, we're trying to optimize for the number of conversations we can have. And it's nice when they don't have to go refill their lists or ensure the deliverability is good. They have more time for conversations and they can do a little bit more filtering on their side. So yeah, in a perfect world, if all of our owners are out doing 3 installations a day, then perhaps we'll work with y'all to filter it a bit more. But right now, keep it flowing.
Yeah, love it. All right, let's talk auto specific. Just a couple quick questions. What's the time commitment look like on your end each week, if any?
I review the Airtable each week and the report that your team sends. I'm kind of a junkie. I like to see every lead that comes through, so I appreciate getting copied on every lead. I do little to nothing. I mean, I report back to our team on how well it's working. And then even at the onset, I don't know, what we do, two calls, maybe 3 calls where we sort of chatted through the offer and then warmed up some inboxes for 2 or 3 weeks while I went and got the rest of the franchise owners on board. I should say, we tested in that one market, it worked, and then I went and got the rest of the franchise owners on board. So appreciated you sort of working with me on a small scale before we rolled it out to everybody too.
Yeah, I was bullish on it. I was like, we got to get this. We got to test this offer. How's your experience been working with the team? I know we shoot you the reports every week. We don't really need to do kind of scheduled calls. Happy to do them if you want to. But kind of what's your experience been like working with me, Covenant, the rest of the team?
I've worked with other agencies before. All you're really looking for with like a good agency partner, in my opinion, outside of them, of course, driving results, is just like transparency and responsiveness. And it feels like you have a team literally working 24/7 because they get back to us quite quickly. Any feedback that we have on email copy, which is, I mean, maybe once or twice in the first month, quickly addressed, rolled through. But now you sort of know what you're going to get with your guys, which is good.
Yeah. And to your credit, you did a really good job of kind of getting everybody on your side rowing the same boat, which was super helpful because that could turn into, across 5, 6 franchisees all running the same channel. Like, how do I respond? How do I follow up? This strategy, I don't like this strategy, but you're seeing it work over here. So it's like, I'm sure you dealt with a lot more internally that we don't see, but we appreciate you kind of taking on a lot of that work as well. Last question I have for you is, if someone's on the fence about working with me, with Otto, what would you tell them? I know you do tell them things when I send you references, but yeah.
And at the end of the day, you need to, like, you've told me before on other businesses that I've talked about, hey, I don't think the offer will be all that strong. So you got to align with you if the offer is strong, and feel pretty confident that you wouldn't want to set yourself up to not be successful. So that's helpful. The second piece is that just you can offboard. Sure, in theory, folks can go buy lists, build some of this tech themselves, but you're doing it across, I don't even know, dozens of different companies now. It's been really nice for me not to have to think about this. And to be honest, I did initially want to talk to you about you helping me build this. And I was like, yeah, never mind. Let's offboard it. So,
yeah.
Trust the pros. It's been working for me on 2 different businesses. We have 6 happy franchise owners using it as well. So yeah, bullish on it.
Love it, man. Appreciate the time. This was super helpful, clarifying for me as well. Yeah, we'll keep crushing it for you.
Appreciate it, Andrew. Thanks.
All right. Cheers.